How do you deal with all the evil in the world? You know, like somebody who consciously chooses to take the life of something.
How do we deal with the evil in the world? First, we have to start dealing with the evil in us.
I understand that, but when you see it around you...
The whole society is made up of us. So if we change, then the world changes. I don't think the world can be changed by external reform. Well, external reform is necessary to keep it under control. Yes, I agree with that. Like you need traffic lights to keep the traffic under control. Here, when you see green, you move. And when you see red, you stop. In India, when we see green, we stop. When we see red, we move. So the human being has to change. Just, you know what I mean? So while social reforms and laws and rules and regulations are good, the human being has to change. And the same human being, when he comes here or when he goes to Dubai, he's driving okay. When he comes back to his own country, he thinks, I'm exercising my freedom. But freedom without responsibility is a very dangerous thing. So most of this that happens is because of that. So my work, I can't go and do the social reform. I can walk across the length and breadth of India and go back home and still people are the same. So my work actually is to change individuals. And since the whole world consists of individuals, I think if one person, or at least a handful of people change, then the change can be brought about. That's how I look at this.
No, I totally understand that. It was more a question, I suppose, as well as how does society cope with someone that's... How does society in general cope with some of the dreadful things one or two individuals have done? I know that's long term because that's what I try to practice myself, be the change. But obviously there's others that aren't overly along a spiritual path and they will choose to do that because for the short term it makes them feel better or for whatever their reasons are behind. And it's about an acceptable way that you would suggest of dealing with people. Okay, gives them the opportunity maybe, but helping people around them to live with the consequences of those actions.
Well, we have to live with the consequences. There is no escape. We can try to change, but the consequences of what has already happened, we cannot. We have to live. There's no way out. But the idea should be to prevent such things from happening in future. And for that, now we have to put in a little bit of work. And what I have noticed is that human beings all over the world are basically human beings. They all have, you may have different names, different color, different, and so on, but basically we are the same. Fortunately, what has happened for us in India is that we have taken things for granted. We talk about peace, we talk about God, but we don't practice. What I notice when I go out is people talk less and do more. I'm very proud of India, of course. I'm not saying no, but it's a fact. We talk a lot, and what happens is young people from abroad fall a prey to the stock. They don't know that actually they're not doing anything. Which is what happens to the young generation falling into the guru trap. Because they see something very exotic. They say, oh, this is the world, this is spirit. And they don't check what's going on with the guru himself. Right? Then you fall into the trap.
Totally. Thank you. No, I get that.
Yes.
Namaste, Guruji. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned yesterday that for people like you are doing work 24 hours.
No, today I had a nap.
That's not what I meant. So, of course, we've seen you on YouTube or your Satsang Foundations doing work. Behind closed doors, can you give us a glimpse of what it is that you're doing?
Good God. Behind closed doors. Well, do you want my routine?
No, I just want to understand how you're helping. Other than what is the obvious.
You mean what I do outside? Other than that? First let me tell you. At some point in my life, maybe at the age of 23, 24, after I had spent about 3 years or so with my master, with my teacher, something happened to me inside, psychologically, maybe even a little bit to the physical cells, by which don't think I'm talking highly about myself. But after that, I could not think too much about myself. I could, of course, a little bit like how to get food and how to normal things, like for animals also, think of that. Apart from that, I could not really separately think of my own profit. Profit meaning not in money terms, the mind started thinking of others, how they are, how they feel, what's happening to them. And therefore, when I'm not practically doing something, the rest of the time, as you said, close first, my mind is always engaged in figuring out how to make somebody better in something. Maybe when I die, after that, people might discover a big bunch of manuscripts in my room, in which I keep writing every day at least a page, saying what is to be done now, how do we remedy this? It's the suffering that's going on. It's outside everything looks nice. There's a lot of suffering in the world. How do we go about it? What to do? And since I keep thinking about that, all the time I'm awake and working, the main idea is to how to make others understand this, what I'm doing. This is what I do. Well, there are some short periods of time when I myself get a little tired of thinking. So what do I do then? I read Aspects. Or Tintin. You know? And I'm away from it for some time. Recently I read Harry Potter, but then I found my autobiography better. So, this is my life. In a way you can say it's quite transparent, because there are people living around me, but there is one part of my life which is very secret. That I can't discuss with you. Something that happens in my mind and something, no, I won't say that. That will probably put me in a lunatic. I keep asking people, when they think just 3 of us or 2 of us are in one place, in a room, I keep asking them, are you serious? Do you think there are only 3 of us here? Do you think there are only this many of us here? No. This whole of the universe is made of realms upon realms, fitting into each other, in the same space that you think you are. So to bring about a change, you need also to have a dialogue with them. That doesn't mean I sit down and talk to myself. Hey, hello, how are you? That is a different story. It's a pathological problem. But what I mean to say is that this universe consists of many intelligences. good, bad, medium, black, white, grey, and when the mind expands, how does the mind expand? Through Kriya or any other spiritual practice, not only this Kriya. The mind ascends to subtler levels of awareness and higher dimensions. When this happens, you are no longer confined to a small, narrow circle. It's wide, much wider. What's happening here today? We are all sitting here. In another part of the universe, the same thing might be happening in a different way. Physicists are kind of talking about a parallel universe. But what is positive here is negative, and what is negative is positive. So this universe is a big network. So many inputs. So this is what I do when I'm silently sitting in the room. I try to interact. Nobody has asked me this question, you asked me, so I'm just kind of trying to say that without making you feel that this guy is a nut.
Well, actually, I've got the microphone, so I'll just quickly ask a question. So when we look at the teachings, you got the Tena Tiktena Munjita, let go and rejoice. Look at everyone and everything afresh. Do not be conditioned by the past. So that's what everyone's supposed to strive towards. And then there's this passage in the Gita where Krishna describes to Arjuna how desire leads to anger, and then anger leads to loss of memory, and loss of memory to loss of intelligence, and then destructive. Right. Then there you need memory, and that has a component of the past in there. So how do we? What? Because then Krishna says that you lose your memory, and then you lose your intelligence, and that you're destroyed. But at that point, you need the memory that's past.
At which point?
So then when Krishna describes it, you have desire, then anger leads to loss of memory leads to loss of intelligence, and then
I think you got it wrong. It's not like that.
Over the time.
No. What Krishna or Vedavyasa is trying to say is that but it's not confined to Vedavyasa or to Krishna. Buddha said the same thing. He said desire is the root of all sorrow. Right? So what they're trying to say is that, you know how you get angry because you desire something and somebody else comes in the way. So you get angry. One of the root causes of anger is that there are competitors desiring the same thing that you want. And why do you desire? Because you are in contact with sense objects. So the particular part that you are talking about, the Gita, starts with Yarado Vishayan Punsaha. When the mind goes, when the sense object, don't ask me whether I went to a Sanskrit school. So that's another thing. I never went to a Sanskrit school. Anyway. When the sense organs are always engaged in contact with sensory objects, Sangasteshu Viraja, constantly, when you are in touch with that, Sangat Sanjayade Kama, then you get desire for it. Right? So now you know why. And I talk to people, I look only for 1 minute and look to another person. I don't want to get caught. So then attachment comes. Kama. Kamat krodho vijayate. Then from desire comes anger, which means then I desire something, which means somebody else desires the same, and then I'm angry with the guy, boy. This guy is coming in between. He's singing songs. So, anger. Pramat Krodo. Some question is coming into his head. Then, Kroda Bhavati Sammoha. That means anger. I am quoting what you asked me. Kroda Bhavati Sammoha means through anger. When you are angry, for a short period you are crazy. You don't know what you are doing. Sometimes you don't even know who you are. A driver, when he gets angry, could slap the boss because he forgot he is a driver and that he is his boss. So sammoha, confusion. Anger brings confusion. Now look, what the Gita is trying to say is that in our lives, in daily lives, we always keep desiring something. We don't get all our desires. So there is anger. And anger is a short madness, it's confusion. And when this continues, that means throughout our life we live a confused life. We can't think clearly because of anger. Anger need not be shouting inside. In fact, the anger which is inside is worse than the shouting. So, constantly we are in sammoha, confusion. And then what happens in that confusion? You lose your memory. With Brahma, you lose your memory. Then from that what happens when you lost your memory of who you are, what you are, where you stand? Not that memory. Then what happens? What happens is that your confused state of mind. Your intelligence is also lost because you don't know how to judge. Your judgment is lost. Buddhinasha. From Buddhinasha what happens? Pranashyati. Your entire life is destroyed. Where did it start? From desire. Now here memory is not referring to the memory of I am here, I am talking to you. Suppose I forget I am here. That is not what is meant. What is meant is the memory which carries the confusion of desire. That is what is meant. You need to get rid of it. This memory loss we are talking about is not physical amnesia, which happens when you had an accident. This is different from that. This is psychological memory. That's what we are talking about. In fact, if you can keep your mind quiet and vacuous and not particularly desiring for anything in a calm state, then the knowledge that you require filters in when required. That's not because of memory. People ask me when you talk about Upanishads, you suddenly quote something. So have you read them and memorized them? No. If I can do it, that's a good news. Probably you can do it. It's a question of learning how to free the mind from limitations. Not totally it won't become limitless, of course. But certainly many limitations can be removed. Then you can tune into something and go on with it. Since we are on the subject, many years ago when I was with Babaji, Mysore Babaji, one day he told me, I'm going to send you in Uttarakhand. I'm going to send you to this Panditji to learn Sanskrit. I said, Babaji, please, why should we waste time with this? He said, no, you need it because you need to study some texts. Okay. I argued with him always, but in the end it was always. You are young, you argue. Also I do. What's that famous book Amartya Sen wrote? The Argumentative Indian. It's in our genes. I agreed. I went to this Panditji in Uttarakhand. Panditji said, all your modes of knowledge which you know, keep it aside. You need to first learn by rote, by heart, the slokas, including the rules of grammar. I felt in my mind it is futile, but okay, I said, I'll try. So he said, when I chant, you chant with me. You will commit mistakes, but we can correct it. I said, okay. So Babaji, but Joshiji chanted, and I tried to follow. I followed for some time. This was the first time I'm trying to follow somebody who's chanting. Okay. After 5-10 minutes, Joshiji turned to me and said, so have you attended Pathshala before? I said, I have not attended any Pathshala. Don't lie to me. I said, no, I didn't go to a Pathshala, I never studied. Then how come you are able to follow? I said, that's I don't know. So then he kind of settled down with the expression, saying, what kind of people do Babaji said to? कैसे लोगों को बाबाजी यहाँ भेजते थे. चलो ठीक है, come on, he said, let's study. 6 months I studied, not more than that. After that, whenever Maheshwarnath Babaji talked about a particular select Upanishad, other books, I could follow. So what I'm trying to say, see why I'm saying all this, is not trying to show off. What I'm trying to say is that therefore this potential is there in all human beings. To tap it. Why are we not able to tap it? Because we lead a life of distraction. We want to do something when something else is happening. We're doing something else. If I lead a life where I do what I really love, in spite of the fact that the consequences may not bring me profit, that's called dedication. Then I lead a normal, straightforward, undistracted life. When you lead an undistracted life, you don't lose energy. All the energy is there with you. Such a mind becomes sharp and it can penetrate. So you open the Pandora's box.
Namaste, Guruji, over here. I just wanted to have your thoughts on mediumship.
I'm not a medium.
No, but yeah, its part in spiritual development, and should you be paying attention to seeing entities? May they purport to be people that have died in the past?
I have this to say, that most mediumship is bunkum. The less you waste your time on it, the better for you. Because most of it will be just your imagination. Most of it. So, there's no point in it. It's like a soul which is very sad because somebody died, becomes a victim of so-called medium. Because there is some satisfaction, oh, I can talk to my ex-husband up there. Actually, you're talking only to the mind of the chap who calls himself the medium. So, don't waste time on that. And a master, a spiritual master, is quite different from a medium. A medium means somebody who is allowing the body to be controlled by somebody else. Master is one who has full control over himself or herself. So there are two distinctions. So my understanding of this is that if you are on the spiritual path, avoid all these mediums and all this nonsense, franchise. This is not spiritual. People mistake all this, confuse this with spiritual. Yeah. Once I also went for a planchette thing because they said a stove was moving and writing on rice. I think in Trivandrum when I was young, they put some rice, they held the stove, three people, and it stood up on one foot and moved and wrote something. So I said, what's going on? So I also went. I also held it. And then the stove moved. faster than before. And it wrote M. So everybody said, oh, it's working. I was pushing. I have learned this the hard way, getting it. Because if you don't refute and if you don't eliminate what is false, you cannot find the truth. Simple. That's why Adi Shankara, when he taught Vedanta, found a principle called neti. Neti, not this, not this. If you don't eliminate not this, then finally you come to that which you cannot eliminate. Then you have to accept it.
Does it also include the tarot reading and reading?
I don't think so. Personally, and it has not affected me. When I built my home, people came and said, you have to do a home. I said, this is a home.
Hi Guruji, my question is more a statement. Through the years, my father used to say women are equal to men, and there are so many goddesses as well as gods. Why is it then that women are still treated as possessions?
As possessions.
Or lesser equals in society today?
Are they really?
I think so. In some places.
I don't know. Really. I'm very sad if it is so. But I think we are equal. There is no such thing. You cannot discriminate. Of course, men are not the same as women. Men don't have menses and periods. Men don't have some features which women have. All that is fine. That is physical. But as far as the brain is concerned and the mind is concerned, they are the same. In fact, there are some women who are sharper than men. So we should not discriminate. Why are we discriminating? I think it's the male desire to dominate. It happens also in animals. You have a huge pride of lions. Who dominates? The lion, not the lioness. So that has come down to us, because we are, after all, this come from animals, right? So it's there. But since we have become humans, it's about time we eliminate. Well, what is the difference between us as humans and animals as they are? And if we claim to be superior to the animals, but we have not been able to eliminate this. I think it's time to eliminate this. Even today, when a child is born, first child is what's the delivery? Oh, very good. And they say, yeah, it's a girl. Why? My driver came to my mind. What happened?
I think we're still fighting for equal rights even at this time.
Wait a minute. I had a girl. I said, so why are you looking so unhappy? He said, because it's a girl. I asked him, was Indira Gandhi a man? Was Golda Meir a man? Huh? So, in fact, somebody said in Indira Gandhi's cabinet there was only one man, was she. So, what did you say?
I was saying that even today we're still fighting for equal rights with men.
I think you should put up a fight. It's great. Please don't let go of this fight. Fight. There may be people who don't like it, but doesn't matter. I know many husbands will be squirming here. Saying this guy is opening a Pandora's box, but the fact is that it's about time to think about it. When you say equal rights, that means you can't get men to deliver kids. That's not equal, that is physical inequality, psychological. Like for instance, a woman cannot do heavy work like a man. It's a fact, I mean it's a physiological fact. But in the mind, the level of the mind, there is no need to discriminate. Actually. And that happens only if the woman becomes brave enough to say, yes, this is what I do. Otherwise people say, woman, what's your job? Sit and cook in the kitchen. There was a time when women were not allowed to read the Vedas or chant the Gayatri. You know from where it started changing? With Swami Vivekananda and Dayananda Saraswati of the Arya Samaj, who said, what is this nonsense? He said, you can't chant the Gayatri. Why not? In fact, in the Valmiki Ramayana, unfortunately when we say Ramayana, people read Ramcharitmanas, which is only 800 years old. The original Ramayana is the Valmiki Ramayana, 1000 years or more. In Valmiki Ramayana, there is one instance where Lakshmana says to Rama that he needs to talk to Sita. And Rama says to Lakshmana, is this the time that you talk to her? She is doing the Sandhya Vandana. Who does Sandhya Vandana? You don't chant that.
Sorry, we didn't hear her. We didn't hear her.
You didn't want to hear? In the Valmiki Ramayana, Lakshmana tells Rama that he wants to talk to Sita. Rama says to Lakshmana, is this the time when you want to talk to her? She is doing a Sandhya Vandana. Now, who does Sandhya Vandana? Only those who chant the Gayatri. Who else does? So, 1000 years ago, or if Sita could do the Gayatri, why are others not allowed to do it? There is one religion in which, if you have one man witness, you need 2 women witnesses to be equal. What does it mean? It's all invented by men who wanted to control society. There is no other truth in this. And especially in a country like India, where the ultimate energy, the Parashakti, is worshipped as feminine. How this came into the system is a little difficult to figure out actually. And this is practiced by those who consider India herself as a mother and say, Bharat Mata ki Jai. Look at the women in their households. They are the most neglected.
Hello. Thank you.
Sorry, I got into a political discussion. No.
Hello. Thank you for being here and sharing. Thank you. I have 2 questions, please. The first one is about laughter.
About?
Laughter.
Laughter.
Laughter. And the second one is about love.
Love.
Love. Yes, my accent, love. and this is what I noticed, what's just happened right in this second, the laughter that is shared in the room. And although the sacredness of the teachings have been so beautiful, so powerful, the laughter, it's just been amazing. And I wonder,
you know why?
How,
because life is fun.
Yeah.
And that laughter comes out naturally. I'm not trying to laugh. Sometimes I feel sad when I laugh about something, but it doesn't. I mean, it comes out. Those things are quite strange and funny. Yeah. So
there is a value to it. There is a value to lightheartedness in the way we live, and yet the teachings still have their depth. But yet the lightheartedness can help to carry. Because that is what I'm seeing. There is a light-heartedness that you share, and yet the depth of your teachings, they have an extraordinary depth.
Thank you.
And yet for all, they sit within the light-heartedness of joy and humour. So it is a sharing that I'm saying thank you for also recognising that it's food. The second is a question for love. When I walked in before, there was a film on the screen, but the volume was off. And you were speaking on the screen, and there was a quote at the bottom of the screen that said,
you were quoting Gandhi, and I think it said, "With love, anything is possible." Something like, I can't remember exactly because I didn't have enough time to read it. I just wondered if you could. Yes. So you was.
I can't remember.
But I wondered if you could please just share about love in whatever way. If you could just talk about love and the power of it.
I don't know. I think love is a word like laughter. We talk about a lot. In Bangalore, I met a lady who came to me and said, "You need to help me out because I have forgotten how to laugh." Laugh. I said, "How come?" Because she said, "For 20 years I'm part of a laughing club." I can laugh only if somebody says 1, 2, 3, Otherwise I can't see anything natural in laugh. Because I'm accustomed. That also has become a drill for me. You know? You know how to laugh? 1, 2, 3, It's like hyenas in the forest. So, the laughter that comes from the heart cannot be switched on at a coup and say 1, 2, 3. It's something that's naturally in us, which comes. Unfortunately, to love, we need to get away from the artificial structures that we have built around love. When I say love, sometimes I think everybody very easily says, "I love you." Does it really mean anything? Or is it a way of expression? A stewardess in the aircraft smiles at you. Is that a smile? Or is it trained to smile? Because if you just suddenly walk into the kitchen, you see that she's probably So why natural love and natural laughter has escaped us is because we have become trained to pretend to have everything when we don't have it. So we have to get free of these pretensions, these artificial, rituals that we have. Early in the morning, we are trained to say good morning. It may be a terrible morning. So, what happens is, in our desire to fit into society, we build structures, and that structure prevents the actual from coming out. Once you shatter those structures, you don't absolutely love anymore. What does love really imply? You are ready to give with no expectation of receiving anything. As long as that's not there, there is no love. What can you do? Yeah, there is a hormone in love, of course. Yeah, when people are young and there are hormones coursing through your blood, you love. That's animals also have. In fact, animals have seasons. Human beings don't. So, if really there is love, suppose, then it must be that which gives always and does not expect to receive a thing. That would be love. It's there. But I am saying that we are human beings and we are capable. I'm not saying we are not capable. We are capable. But for being capable of it, we have to break these artificial structures that we need. If you break that, you say, "Oh, I love God." It's a very abstract statement. You don't even know what there is God. What do you love? So, while it's nice to say love rather than hate, if it has to come in the heart, then we need to break these barriers. I know that there are people who are afraid of saying I love you. Why? Because they think the other guy might get attached to you so much. But say I love you, then they'll have expectations. When you say love, people always have expectations. can be love without expectation.
I've got a much kind of strange question about moksha, because I think Vivekananda, when he wanted to be in samadhi, Ramakrishna scolded him, saying that, how could he be so selfish? So, in a way, when we are trying to attain the mukti or moksha, there's a desire. Do you think it's a bit selfish on our part just to be liberated from us completely? Well, the whole world passes by.
Yeah, but how will you liberate the world if you don't know what's liberation? And when Swami Vivekananda wanted it, please look at the context. Swami Vivekananda, during the last stage of his master, when he was sick, he was sitting down in Kasipur garden and he was absorbed in the state which is called Nirvikalpa. No kalpas, nothing. No kalpas, no destruction of any kind. In that state, somebody went and told Master, who had already having cancer of the throat in the last stages, that your disciple, favorite disciple, is in a state where he says, everything is gone, I'm lost. Everything is lost, there is only that. So he said, call him. So he went to him. And he said, all these years I worked. So what do you want first? He asked. He said, I want to be absorbed always in samadhi, in this state. And Ramakrishna said, is this why I trained you for? That you would be lost completely in samadhi and say, when other people are suffering. So for the time being, I'm going to lock this samadhi and keep the keys with myself. When you've done your work, I'll give you the keys. But it couldn't have happened unless he had this desire to have moksha. It couldn't have happened. If you don't have moksha, what will you teach others? So these are two things. Now this is where there is this concept of the bodhisattva in the Buddhist literature, especially the Mahayana Buddhist literature. It's a wonderful concept which unfortunately we don't even have in Vedanta. I basically claim to be Vedanta, but I'm telling you honestly. And this is Arhat, or some people call it Arhat. It's supposed to be a person who has attained perfection and experienced nirvana, to become free of all bondage and lives in the eternal enjoyment. But he's considered lower than the bodhisattva. Why? Because the bodhisattva is one who has put one foot across the border. Paragati is come here. He understands what bodhi is, what consciousness is, bodhisvaha. And yet, after putting one leg there, he says, wait a minute, I'm not going to put the other foot down there now. Why? Because I don't want to cross the stream completely until I take a few other sufferers there. Knowing quite well that to go back to the world is suffering. But he says, I don't care, that's love. Bodhisattva concept. I don't mind, I need to go back and get at least a clutch of people back there. It's because I can't just myself enjoy this. Such are called the Bodhisattvas. So, if Vivekananda was a Buddhist, he would have lived in the Buddhism.
Sir, question related to this.
I am not a Bodhisattva.
When enlightened beings and masters go away, they break away from the cycle of life and death on earth.
Go away physically or in the mind?
And go away physically.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So when they choose to go away, they break away from the cycle of life and death on earth. But what
Wait a minute, correction. Free masters don't have to die to break away from the birth in themselves. While they're still alive, they're broken. Okay, next.
Okay, thank you for that. But where do they go then? Or what? How do they exist then, or do they not exist after that?
This is a very speculative question. It better be left unanswered. First, let's go there and figure out what happens.
Swamiji, our intention is not to hurt any soul and to be compassionate
What
and
are you
be
reading from?
aware.
What are you reading from?
No, just a question, quickly.
Oh, so
just a question, question. Then why don't people who are spiritual don't investigate, be aware and be sensitive of what they eat and are hurting so many animals? Like consuming a glass of milk is so much hurting the cows, you know.
Oh God, no. So what do we do?
No, people laugh in the beginning and then when they will realize, people will change. In the beginning they will laugh.
May I say something? That please stick to normal modes of existence. You cannot live if you don't do. You can drink only water. Wait a minute. Water has many germs. Are you not consuming the germs in the water? Are they not living beings?
Germs are very different from the life of a cow or a pig or a buffalo or whatever.
No, I don't agree. Germs may be small, but the smallest thing is as valuable as the biggest cow. So, this theory, we should be practical and eat and drink water. Try not to injure animals as much as possible. I agree. I don't. However, don't carry it to an extent that one becomes so cranky and one thinks all who are not living like this are idiots. This is not possible. Please have consideration for other human beings. That is the greatest virtue.
I know. I want to be really compassionate to every
creature. You should be, but don't blame somebody else.
But we can live without that, you know. We can live.
Well, if you can live without that, if you are rich enough to do that, that's fine.
I'm sure, you know, when people will realize and watch some of the videos, what we are doing and consuming, they will change.
First, let's take care of ourselves. Forget about people.
Yeah.
Let's take care of ourselves.
Yes.
Let's watch our own videos. I know people who feed sugar to ants, but are very happy to bump off their business partners. Is this kindness?
Yeah.
Wait, they are vegetarians, but they don't mind murdering some human being. When I say kindness to animals, there are people who have been killed because they are eating beef. Are human beings less than cows? Wait a minute, just a minute. So when you say compassion to living beings, please include human beings also. Because tomorrow who will build a goshala and look after the cow? Not the cow, the human being. So the human being is much more valuable.
But
see, today you are saying this. Does a cow preach this? What you are saying? No, because you are a human being. So a human being is an evolved animal and you should keep them happy and good so that they can help people.
Of course, but the thing is, you know, we humans think we are the top of the creation of the universe, but if the ants and the bees die, in 4 years, I think the whole world will...
Really?
Yeah, that's what they say.
I think please think a little more deeply on this before you make public announcements.
Guruji, I'm utterly fascinated by, and I've gone back to that chapter again and again, where you described when you were in Kailash and how you went into meditation and went to another realm. Is there a reason why you called the great being a luminous void? I'm particularly interested in why you described the great being as a luminous void. And was that scene enacted for you for that moment, or does that realm and the way you saw it exist as it is in them? That's one thing. And someone in the room who was too shy to take the mic has asked me to ask you to speak a little bit about Gayatri. So that's me done.
the experience which I have written about Kailash is the experience that I had. I have not added any masala to it. I have said exactly what I felt. And what I saw was void with light. So I have said it. Whether it was enacted for me, well, I don't know. I really don't. But that's what I saw. So I have actually said what I saw.
We try and imagine heaven and what it must be like and what the other realms are.
Oh, so that's what I'm saying. That was not my imagination.
No, yeah. So it added color to my imagination of how I've grown up trying to visualize heaven or where the great beings
So what
are.
is the question?
No, so I wanted to know if, just like Babaji created how it says in the autobiography of a yogi, how Babaji temporarily created a palace on the amidst the mountains. Yeah, I was just wondering if that was, if that realm really exists the way you described the crystal.
Look, I am saying that what I had experienced in Kailash is what I experienced. I don't know if it was enacted or not enacted. I think it was beyond all enaction. It was actual. So what I saw, I have written. I don't know how to describe it. It's a void, yes, because there was nothing else. But it is a light, yes, because there was no darkness. That's what it is. I cannot say anything beyond this. I don't know whether it was enacted. I don't know who's enacting.
No, I hope I made myself.
I know, I understand what you're saying. But I'm saying that whatever is written there, the experience is what I had. And I have reported it for that. As now, regarding the Gayatri, the Gayatri mantra is a very ancient mantra which has come down to us from the Rig Veda, the first of the Vedas. Now, the author or the Rishi of Gayatri was Vishwamitra. From the very fact that Vishwamitra is the father of Gayatri, founder of Gayatri, we can conclude that this Gayatri is meant for the entire universe, because the very meaning of the word Vishwamitra is friend of the universe. Mitra, Vishwa. So it's not meant for one section, it's meant for all. Okay. Now it comes in a particular section of the Rig Veda, mandala of the Rig Veda, and therefore it is chanted in a certain meter. And that meter has come to stay as the Gayatri meter. Okay? Now, if you want me to elaborate on the Gayatri, we need to have 2 more satsangs, tomorrow, day after. Because it starts with Om, Bhur, Bhuva, Swa. You have to describe Om. Partly we did today. Then you have to describe Bhu. What is Bhuva? I can say that Bhu, Bhuva, Swa means Bhu Loga, Bhur Loga, Swarga Loga. But there are many more. Right? So, Om Bhur Bhuva Swa. Tat Savitra Varenyam. I'm just translating, I'm not going into it because we can't move on. Tat Savitra Varenyam. That Savitra means the controller of the universe. Varenyam. I go down to Bhargo Deva Siddhima. That effulgent deity I meditate upon. Bhargo Devasya deity. Dhimahi I meditate upon. Dhi is the root from which dhyana comes. Dhiyo yona prachodya. Stimulate my intelligence. Awaken my intelligence. Dhiyo yona prachodya. May my intelligence be stimulated. Understanding be stimulated. This is the Gayatri. Meaning, literally. And if you go into elaboration, Bhu is this world. It is also the waking state. Bhuva is the next realm. It's also the dream state. Swa is Swarga. What is Swarga for most of us? Deep sleep. And that which is beyond can't be mentioned. It's the Ardhamatra, Turiya. So when you chant the Gayatri, it affects all the three states, waking, dream and deep, and takes you to Kriya. This is the first sloka only. Then if you examine the next, it's 7 o'clock. But I have literally given you the meaning of the Gayatri. Is there a way of chanting the Gayatri? Yes, it's in the meter that is given in the Gayatri, in the Rig Veda. I am much against singing the Gayatri. Nowadays, people have in the reversing car in India, here it is banned. In India, they fit something in the car, so in the reverse, it's to be chanted. It's to be chanted, not sung. It's not a song, it's a mantra. And the chanting is done very simply in a meter. I have a CD on the Gayatri, you can check it.
What's the timing of Gayatri? Timing for chanting Gayatri?
Early morning is the best, which means dawn. Sandhya. All the three sandhyas. When you say sandhya, it means where two time planes meet together. Early morning sandhya is when the night is vanished and the day begins. The evening sandhya is when the day is vanishing and evening begins, night begins to light. And there is one more sandhya in the middle, which is in the noon, midday, when the shadows have started lengthening. These are the three sandhyas. So these are the best times to chant.
Is it best to do it after the Kriya Yoga in the morning?
If you want to chant the Gayatri, get seriously. You get up in the morning, brush your teeth, bath you don't have to have, wash yourself, don't eat, sit down and chant the Gayatri first, then do everything else. That will kind of decide the whole pattern of your day. So first finish with your Gayatri. And it's a very potent mantra. It's one of the most important mantras that is available to us. Not only because of the meaning, but because of the way it's built. You know, a mantra has its sandhis, because of which it has a certain effect on your nervous system. And Gayatri is ideal. People who come to me sometimes and ask me for a mantra. I ask them, what's your name? Bala Subramanya Sharma. He wants a mantra. I said, in your childhood somebody told you the Gayatri. Yes. So you asking me for a mantra? It's the best. Why don't you chant it? Why I am saying this is because it is a very effective mantra.
Do we have to chant loudly or can we do it quietly?
Can we do what?
Do we have to chant loudly or can we do it quietly?
Gayatri is usually chanted softly.
But not quietly in the mind.
Also, this is also possible. In fact, there was a time when people only whisper Gayatri. They were afraid that somebody else would take it away.
Is there a significance to the number? Because the Sandhya in the morning we do 132 and 64, which is there a significance? Or you
see, look, first you please start chanting, forget the number. Let's not get stuck with the technicalities. Let's start chanting. Doesn't matter if you practice 10 times or 9 times or 18 times or 50. But please start, and then we'll work out about the number. Even if you chant wrong numbers, nothing is going to happen, so not to worry.